On fanaticism. There are fanatics of various kinds. Some people are wine fanatics and cigar fanatics. Some think that if men gave up smoking cigars, the world would arrive at the millennium. Women are generally amongst these fanatics. There was a young lady here one day in this class. She was one of a number of ladies in Chicago who have built a house where they take in the working people and give them music and gymnastics. One day, this young lady was talking about the evils of the world and said she knew the remedy. I asked, "How do you know?" And she answered, "Have you seen Hull House?" In her opinion, this Hull House is the one panacea for all the evils that flesh is heir to. This will grow upon her. I am sorry for her. There are some fanatics in India who think that if a woman could marry again when her husband died, it would cure all evil. This is fanaticism. When I was a boy, I thought that fanaticism was a great element in work, but now as I grow older, I find out that it is not. There may be a woman who would steal and make no objection to taking someone else's bag and going away with it, but perhaps that woman does not smoke. She becomes a smoke fanatic, and as soon as she finds a man smoking, she strongly disapproves of him because he smokes a cigar. There may be a man who goes about cheating people. There is no trusting him. No woman is safe with him. But perhaps this scoundrel does not drink wine. If so, he sees nothing good in anyone who drinks wine. All these wicked things that he himself does are of no consideration. This is only natural human selfishness and one-sidedness. You must also remember that the world has God to govern it, and he has not left it to our charity. The Lord God is its governor and maintainer, and in spite of these wine fanatics and cigar fanatics and all sorts of marriage fanatics, it would go on. If all these persons were to die, it would go on none the worse. Do you not remember in your own history how the Mayflower people came out here and began to call themselves Puritans? They were very pure and good as far as they went, until they began to persecute other people, and throughout the history of mankind it has been the same. Even those that run away from persecution indulge in persecuting others as soon as a favorable opportunity to do so occurs. In 90 cases out of 100, fanatics must have bad livers, or they are dyspeptics, or are in some way diseased. By degrees, even physicians will find out that fanaticism is a kind of disease. I have seen plenty of it. The Lord saved me from it. The experience comes to this, that it is rather wise to avoid all sorts of fanatical reforms. This world is slowly going on. Let it go slowly. Why are you in a hurry? Sleep well and keep your nerves in good order. Eat right food and have sympathy with the world. Fanatics only make hatred. Do you mean to say that the temperance fanatic loves these poor people who become drunkards? A fanatic is a fanatic simply because he expects to get something for himself in return. As soon as the battle is over, he goes for the spoil. When you come out of the company of fanatics, you may learn how really to love and sympathize. And the more you attain of love and sympathy, the less will be your power to condemn these poor creatures. Rather, you will sympathize with their faults. It will become possible for you to sympathize with the drunkard and to know that he is also a man like yourself. You will then try to understand the many circumstances that are dragging him down and feel that if you had been in his place, you would perhaps have committed suicide. I remember a woman whose husband was a great drunkard, and she complained to me of his becoming so. I replied, "Madam, if there were 20 millions of wives like yourself, all husbands would become drunkards. I am convinced that a large number of drunkards are manufactured by their wives. My business is to tell the truth and not to flatter anyone. These unruly women from whose minds the words bear and forbear are gone forever, and whose false ideas of independence lead them to think that men should be at their feet, and who begin to howl as soon as men dare to say anything to them which they do not like. Such women are becoming the bane of the world, and it is a wonder that they do not drive half the men in it to commit suicide. In this way, things should not go on. Life is not so easy as they believe it to be. It is a more serious business. A man must not only have faith, but intellectual faith too. To make a man take up everything and believe it would be to make him a lunatic. I once had a book sent me, which said I must believe everything told in it. It said there was no soul, but that there were gods and goddesses in heaven, and a thread of light going from each of our heads to heaven. How did the writer know all these things? She had been inspired and wanted me to believe it too, and because I refused, she said, "You must be a very bad man. There is no hope for you." This is fanaticism.